There's this saying that science progresses one funeral at a time. I think about it a lot. Before the concept of a photon being both a packet of light and a wavelength was introduced, we thought that everything had to travel through a medium. That's why it was always in a wavelength. Because even if you look at light in a vacuum, it's going through a wavelength. So people assumed there must be some medium that we can't see that's causing it to travel in this wavelength, and we called it ether. And there were entire professors that built their PhD dissertations on ether. Their life's work was on ether. So when Einstein comes out with the photoelectric effect and says, hey, actually, light is both a particle and a wavelength, there is no ether. Do you think that people accepted that and said, wow, the entire postulate for the theorems that I've been pursuing is actually false? Whoa, I see the light now, literally. They spent the rest of their lives trying to discredit Einstein until they eventually died and we accepted the new way of thinking. I had a biochem professor in college who told me about how his PI refused to accept the idea that proteins could be infectious. Apparently it was first coming out, this idea of a prion. And he was like, humbug, it's a virus, it's a bacteria, they just think it's a protein, but it's not. Like more and more research comes out, proteins are infectious, like prions are probably the scariest thing that you can come across in medicine. I wonder what my equivalent of that will be when I'm a PI. And all I hope is that nobody is waiting on my funeral for science to progress forward. Even if I waste decades searching in the wrong direction, for the love of God, can I please have the humility to correct course before it ends? Please, Preston. That's the only kind of scientist I want to be.